Hi, my dears. I'm going to start off with 2 quotes to ease our way into this episode. Quote, "When we give ourselves compassion, we are opening our hearts in a way that can transform our lives." End quote, by Kristen Neff. Here's another one. Quote, "The only person who can pull me down is myself, and I am not going to let myself pull me down anymore." End quote, by C. Joybell C. So for this episode, we will dive into the concept of self-compassion, truly loving yourself. We will talk about the importance of self-compassion, how it is essential to our physical and mental health, and a 5-step guide to self-compassion itself. Hello, my wonderful people. I am your host, Carolina, and you are listening to Citadel Clarity, where we educate, heal, and inspire ourselves. We dig deep into concepts about the self, perception, and emotions. We shed light on the old thinking patterns that are not working for us anymore and illuminate new positive thinking patterns to prevail over self-limiting beliefs, heal our hearts, and elevate self-esteem so we can tap into our higher purpose, who we truly are. I am so glad you're here. Let's get to it. What is self-compassion? First, let's dissect the definition of self-compassion. So according to Stanford University, self-compassion is valuing one's own pursuit of happiness and aversion towards suffering and behaving in accordance with those values. So it's transforming negative thought habits, attitudes, and emotional biases. Another definition, according to dailygood.org, which I like better, is being warm and understanding toward ourselves when we suffer, fail, or feel inadequate, rather than ignoring our pain or flagellating ourselves with self-criticism. And flagellating is like flogging, whipping, or torturing yourself. So it involves recognizing and accepting personal suffering and treating oneself with warmth and understanding and acknowledging the shared humanity of this human experience. So I'm going to share something called attributional style. In psychology, it refers to how individuals explain the causes of events in their lives. And I feel like this plays a big role in how we perceive our own realities, specifically in the positive or negative context. Like, oh, that happened to me because I'm lucky. Or, yeah, that didn't happen because I'm not lucky. And I bring this up because this is a big part of why many people have this inner critic within them, and it keeps them from being kind to themselves during times of failure, pain, or suffering. So we can end up feeling a lot of negativity about ourselves when we have certain attribution style. So according to Berkeley Wellbeing, external attribution for good things means we believe the good stuff in our lives, like success, compliments, or opportunities, happen by chance or because of others, not because of us. So instead of feeling proud, we feel like we just got lucky. And that makes it hard to truly enjoy our wins or feel more confident for them. Then we also have internal attribution. And it means we believe the bad stuff, like mistakes or failures. And we believe that it's our fault. We blame ourselves even if it wasn't fully in our control. And this keeps us stuck in guilt or sadness about things that already happened. So basically, we give away credit for the good and take all the blame for the bad. And that can really hurt our confidence and happiness. But going back to self-compassion, that kind of just correlates with that, because self-compassion is when we realize that we need to do it for ourselves. Honestly, it first starts with recognizing you want to do this for you. Realizing and accepting the fact that you want to change something in your life to have pure peace and enjoy it. And self-compassion is about treating ourselves with kindness and understanding, just as we would a loved one. It involves acknowledging our suffering, offering ourselves comfort, and recognizing that we are not alone in our struggles. We understand the humanity in all of it. It's not about being self-indulgent or ignoring our flaws. It's about accepting ourselves with all our imperfections. And when I hear that, love your flaws, love the parts of you, that means you have to love everything, even the parts that you deem unworthy, even the parts that you hide from people, the parts that you think you need to shy away from, the parts that you think people won't accept. because once upon a time, someone made you feel shameful of that, so now you don't do that anymore. Or someone made you feel shameful that you wore those pair of jeans, so now you will never wear those kinds of jeans anymore. The part of you that you concluded that doesn't deserve love or kindness. But when we love the parts of us that we've shied away from, that we've deemed unworthy to show the world, that is when we are truly free. That is when we love ourselves unconditionally. And there are no conditions for your self-love. You don't have to do X, Y, Z to love yourself, or look a certain way, or talk a certain way to love yourself. You just love yourself because you are you. You don't have to do anything for that love and for that kindness or that compassion. So continuing, Dr. Neff emphasizes that self-compassion is not about being self-indulgent, which allowing yourself to have or do the things that you enjoy very much, but it's about accepting ourselves with all our imperfections. Also, psychologist and author Dr. Brené Brown, I love her. She is someone I recommend for you to read if you resonate. She has spoken extensively about the importance of self-compassion in her work, stating that it is essential for building resilience and living a wholehearted life. So I love reading her books because her main point is to live through your heart. Be vulnerable, do, be, live through the heart. And I began reading her books because I caught myself being in between the heart and the mind. My mind constantly trying to protect me from harm's way or from repeating past hurts, from associating with people who have hurt me, or even just not allowing people, new people, people that actually are good for me, but not allowing them to see my true self, to trust them. And it's like the inner critic, kind of like, well, you didn't learn your lesson, and like you need to learn your lesson. But then my heart, it whispers, like, let it go. Forgive yourself. Start trusting. But that is part of the process for some, where we have to practice trusting the heart, to listen to it and to keep our focus on it. That is that radical surrender of control. I sometimes say to myself, thank you, brain, for trying to protect me. But now I will let my heart take the wheel for this. Now, there are some misconceptions about self-compassion. The misconceptions are that it is selfish, even though it is taking better care of yourself. Another misconception is that it is sugarcoating. However, it allows us to change our perspective on how we react to pain. A third one is it's only self-pity, even though it allows people to take a step back and recognize where we need to be kind to ourselves. And the last one is that it's passive, even though it has proven to increase motivation and self-improvement. All right, how self-compassion is essential to your physical and mental health. So we have to talk about it because we are the body, mind, and spirit, and we have to pay attention. Take care of all parts of us to be balanced in this experience here on earth. So remember, self-compassion is essential for both physical and mental well-being because it helps you respond to life's challenges with kindness instead of harsh judgment. And here's how it helps. So mentally, it reduces anxiety and depression. So instead of beating yourself up, you comfort yourself like a good friend would. This softens stress and emotional pain. It improves emotional resilience, so you're more likely to bounce back from setbacks when you treat yourself with care rather than criticism. Also, it increases self-worth. You start to believe you are enough, even when things go wrong. This one is big. Worthiness is essential. It is tied to what you think you deserve, and also living through ease and not survival mode. Now, the physical benefits are it lowers stress hormones like cortisol, which can otherwise damage your immune system and heart over time. But it improves sleep because you're not constantly overthinking or judging yourself at night. And it encourages healthier habits. So when you love yourself, you are more likely to eat well, exercise, and rest, not as punishment, but as care. So in short, self-compassion helps you heal emotionally and take better care of your body. Recent studies published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found a strong link between self-compassion and increased resilience and well-being. And also a 2023 meta-analysis of over 50 studies on self-compassion concluded that self-compassionate individuals tend to have better physical health, including lower blood pressure and a stronger immune system. So personally, I used to put immense pressure on myself to be perfect, which led to a lot of stress and anxiety. Not gonna lie, it's not like I cured myself within a day or within like a year. Like I do find myself going back into that like perfectionism aspect or mentality. But after learning about self-compassion, what it truly is and how it can change your life, I started practicing it daily, doing my best to. And like I said, I'm not gonna lie, at first I believed it was like you have to go all in. But in reality, it was baby steps. Like everything in life, we can take leaps, but taking things step by step will get us closer to our goals. So it has been a step-by-step process, and it has made a huge difference in my life. Now I approach challenges with more kindness and understanding, and I am much less likely to get caught up in the negative self-talk. So I am working on purging my inner critic, and it is a work in progress till this day, but I'm working on it. Also, I wanted to mention, writing this episode has revealed to me that my inner critic, it needs to be shut down, or at least not running the show. And I've been learning and also working on it as I create this episode. It's kind of like, as I write this episode, a lot of things are coming up, a lot of things have been revealing itself. And I don't know, I find that crazy. I find that cool and crazy at the same time. But yeah, that's life. All right, we are on the last topic for this episode, and it is the 5-step guide to self-compassion. So I wanted first to bring this up, that self-healing and spirituality, it has a bad rap when it comes to only being about love and light. Like, yes, that is part of it. And this does tie into the self-compassion. Like, yes, love and light, it is part of the process. It is part of the journey, finding your light, the part of you that shines, and sharing that with the world. However, the main part is going through the darkness, the parts where we tend to hide from. For us to reach that point of being in our light more often or more consistently, we need to dive into the parts of us that are dark, the parts where we hid from ourselves, the parts we fear, hate, feel shameful about. And it's not an easy ride. It's not all rainbows and crystals and ginger shots. It's not an easy ride because we don't like to feel pain, but that's the part. We need to feel those parts, those emotions. We need to dive deep into these pits, have these quote unquote breakdowns, or if you want to think of it positively, upgrades. But that's part of it. It feels like a breakdown, but it's really an upgrade. It's part of this human experience. So we need to experience polarities of life. As above, so below. Okay, so let's start with the first step to self-compassion. Step number 1, recognizing and confronting your inner critic. So this requires you to pay attention to your self-talk. Notice how negative thoughts make you feel. Do you feel stressed, anxious, or even physically uncomfortable? These feelings are a signal that your inner critic is active. So here are some suggestions that can help you navigate through negative thoughts. You can write them down in a journal. So by writing them down, you can become more aware of patterns and triggers. So for example, do you find that you're more self-critical after a stressful day at work? or when comparing yourself to others on social media. Also, you can imagine your negative thoughts floating down a stream of water, floating far away from you. This can help you visualize that your negativity does not have to take up so much space in your thoughts. It does not need to be part of your thinking. Finally, consider using a thought record. So this is a technique used in cognitive behavioral therapy, and it is to identify and challenge negative thought patterns. So a thought record helps you examine the evidence for and against your negative thoughts and develop more balanced and realistic alternatives. And I first saw one of these. I bought a book called The Book of Overthinking. It has a thought record chart. So for instance, you can write down your thoughts about a situation, and there are prompts to answer, such as like, what was the situation? Like who, what, where? What did you feel? And rate the intensity of said emotion. What was a thought? And rate your belief of said thought. What evidence supports these thoughts? What evidence contradicts these thoughts? What's a more accurate thought? There are many charts online, so you can just search thought record charts, and there are so many with varying yet similar questions to answer. And honestly, it just allows you to just release the whirlwind of negative emotion and like thoughts and beliefs that you have going on, and just put it on paper, and it kind of allows us to have more clarity of the situation and allows us to move on, move forward. All right, step 2, it's practicing self-kindness. Treat yourself with the same compassion and understanding that you would offer a friend in need. For example, do affirmations. I affirm myself every day to remind myself of how important it is to speak kindly to myself. And I started talking to myself this way to remind myself that I was doing my best and that it was okay to ask for help. And the only person that's going to treat you the way you want to be treated, like 100%, is yourself. So like, just become your own best friend. To truly affirm yourself, you need to acknowledge the pain though, and release what does not belong there anymore, to make room for the positive narratives, the positive thoughts and beliefs that belong there instead. So this shift in self-talk, it made a huge difference in my emotional state and helped me stay motivated to, 1, continue living my life this way, and 2, to take in all and everything I do in life, my projects, my relationships, with a more positive perspective. You can also practice self-soothing techniques like taking deep breaths, listening to calming music, or engaging in activities that bring you joy. So I began painting, drawing, being more creative. That's what I love. I also love to sing, and I do my best to do that every day. When I drive, in the shower, when I cook, when I clean, when I rock my baby to sleep. I also love to dance. I do my best to incorporate it throughout my day. So I dance when I cook, when I clean. So do the things you love. I remember this girl on Instagram, she's telling everyone, hey, do the things you love in your life. We only get one shot at this. We only live once. So F the naysayers. Those people who keep talking down on you, F them. The people or situations causing you stress, F them. Do what you love, because we die at the end of this. So might as well start doing the things you love. And that just resonated. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, we die at the end of this, you guys. So do what you love. Anyways, to continue, write yourself a self-compassion letter to convince yourself of these positive thoughts, to solidify it into reality, into physical matter. And there's a self-compassion journal prompt made by Kristen Neff, Dr. Neff, and it's on selfcompassion.org if you want to look for it. The first prompt is, which imperfections make you feel inadequate? So this is acknowledging the pain, the fear, or the things that you kind of hid away from. And then the second prompt is, write a letter to yourself from the perspective of an unconditionally loving imaginary friend. That's that self-affirming part. And I love this because we need to get real with ourselves. We need to stop fearing who we are and how we feel about ourselves, and start giving ourselves a chance to start over, a chance to say, oops, I messed up, let me try again. Or you know what, I'm not perfect, but at least I tried, and that's enough. And finally, and this is something I believe is important, it's the way we speak, the vocabulary we use, it has an effect on our realities. So remove the word should in your vocabulary. I find myself using, or at least saying, definitive words for things I don't feel comfortable with. Words like I should be, I should have, I need to, I have to. Listen, there's no right or wrong way to be or to do things. When we use these terms, we are still judging ourselves to be a certain way, to fit a certain mold, or to create a certain scenario. But let's keep going, because we are still on step 3 now, which is embracing imperfection and just, understand that everyone makes mistakes and that it's okay to be imperfect. I was talking about not reading from a script, but you know what? It's fine by me, because right now I need the script to help me keep my thoughts organized. I'm not going to shame myself for that. And I'm accepting that things aren't perfect all the time. So I'm learning from that mistake of shaming myself and being hard on myself. And I'm moving forward with literally a renewed sense of purpose right now at the moment, which is great. And I'm telling you guys, this episode, I feel like writing it, recording it, I have been learning so much through it, learning about myself, learning about forgiving myself. Like, it's just crazy how Great Spirit, God, universe just like uses these scenarios, these situations to reveal to reveal things to you, to give you more clarity. We need to acknowledge that mistakes are opportunities for growth. So don't beat yourself up, okay? Instead, use them as stepping stones to become the better version of yourself. Like I said, this is what's going on with me right now. This is what I'm experiencing. So instead of striving for perfection, focus on progress. Celebrate those small victories. Like after I'm done recording this, I'm gonna go with my baby and we're gonna celebrate with a walk in the park, because honestly, that is such a treat to me. But self-compassion isn't about lowering your standards, but it's about approaching them with kindness and understanding. It's about recognizing that everyone makes mistakes and it's okay, because society has conditioned us to think that if we aren't harsh on ourselves or harsh on our fellow neighbors, our constituents, our friends, that we are setting ourselves up for failure, or giving ourselves or other people too much leeway, and that the only way to learn and grow is through punishment or shaming or humiliation or consequences, like harsh consequences. But in reality, kindness and understanding and patience and love gets us through many of the challenges life has for us. So for instance, in my experience postpartum, it felt like I wasn't doing enough throughout my day, because we have this, I would say, this capitalistic society. It has taught us to always be working in whatever facet you are in your life, in work or in school or in sports or in, I keep saying, but like, because you're living through it with me, but even at your house, in your home, you gotta be constantly doing, taking action. And I was experiencing that in postpartum. I felt it, even though in postpartum they tell you, like, you need to rest. Your body needs to heal. You need to heal so you can take care of your baby. But in my brain, I was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing enough throughout my day. And it was hard. It was a struggle. It was like a mental struggle for me, because I've always felt in the past that, like, if I wasn't doing, I wasn't progressing. And that's such a capitalistic mentality. Not doing is not progressing. Not doing is not making money or not producing. I had to come into terms that, like, I am breastfeeding. I am healing this plate-sized wound in my uterus. Like, I am taking care of my baby with little to no sleep. That is a lot within itself. So, self-compassion. Instead of dwelling on perceived shortcomings, shift your focus to celebrating those small victories and acknowledging progress was made, no matter how small. Small steps get you farther than one huge giant leap. It's literally just a step-by-step process. And we need to view these challenges that come about as opportunities for learning and development rather than threats to our self-worth, because we always tie in our goals and our dreams with our self-worth, when in reality we don't need to do anything to be worthy. I preach this a lot. We don't need to do anything to be worthy. We are literally worthy just because we are. That's it. We are born with that. That is our birthright. We are born with that. Okay? So challenge the tendency to compare yourself to others. Challenge yourself to comparing your successes with others. Challenge yourself to be kind to yourself. Appreciate your life just the way it is. Let's do step 4, and that is forgiving yourself. So forgiving yourself, that is letting go of past mistakes and regrets. And it's crucial for self-compassion. And it's not just like an emotional process, but it's also a scientific one. Okay, so recent study shows that holding on to anger and resentment can have negative effects on both your physical and mental health. So forgiveness has been linked to reduced stress, improved immune function, and better cardiovascular health. So understanding the science behind forgiveness can provide additional motivation and letting go of past hurts. It is also about understanding how your brain processes emotions and memories. So holding on to anger and resentment triggers a stress response in your body, leading to cortisol, the hormone. And these hormones can have negative impacts in your immune system, your heart, and your mental well-being. All right, step 5. This is the final step, and that is cultivating self-compassion in daily life. So this is integrating self-compassion into your daily routine. So start each day with a positive affirmation or a moment of self-reflection. So that's what I do. I listen to the affirmations I make. Do it in the morning when I'm brushing my teeth, getting my day started, and I listen to my affirmations and I say them in the mirror. Use self-compassion as a tool, navigating challenges and setbacks. Incorporate mindfulness practices into your daily routine to increase, your awareness, your thoughts, your feelings, sensations. Like try guided meditations, focus on self-compassion. Use mindful techniques like body scans, deep breathing exercises to be in the present moment and notice any self-critical thoughts. As we come to the end of our episode, let's recap a few key points about self-compassion. 1, it involves acknowledging our suffering, offering ourselves comfort and recognizing that we are not alone in our struggles. We understand the humanity in all of it. It's about accepting ourselves with all of our imperfections. 2, self-compassion is not a one-time fix. It's an ongoing practice. It's about consistently choosing kindness and understanding towards ourselves. 3, self-compassion is essential for both physical and mental well-being, such as reducing depression and anxiety. It increases emotional resilience and self-worth, and it decreases stress hormones like cortisol and encourages healthier life habits. 4, the 5 steps to self-compassion. Confront your inner critic. Be kind to yourself. Embrace imperfection. Forgive yourself and practice self-compassion daily. 5, be gentle with yourself throughout this process, recognizing that setbacks and relapses are a natural part of the journey towards greater self-acceptance. We will end with a quote from Glennon Doyle. Quote, "The only thing that was ever wrong with me was my belief that there was something wrong with me. I quit spending my life trying to control myself and began to trust myself. We only control what we don't trust. We can either control ourselves or love ourselves, but we can't do both." End quote. So the moment you choose to give yourself kindness instead of judgment and forgiveness instead of shame is the moment your life begins to shift. True change doesn't start with willpower. It starts with compassion. You don't have to earn your healing. You just have to allow it. So be gentle with yourself. That's where your power lives. So that is the end of our episode, and I want to thank you for listening today from the bottom of my heart. I am so grateful that you took your time to listen, learn, and love. And if you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe, leave a rating and review to stay up to date with Citadel Clarity. You can also follow us on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or all three at Citadel Clarity, and or visit our website citadelclarity.com. See you in the next episode. Peace and love.